Rumors are flying everywhere in Nigerian politics right now. And if these rumors are true, then something very big is happening behind the scenes. The rumor is simple but very serious. They say Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress are doing everything possible to stop Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso from officially joining the African Democratic Congress. Why? Because of one reason. An alliance. A very powerful alliance that could change everything in 2027. The alliance between Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. If this alliance happens, many political observers believe the political balance in Nigeria could change completely. What looks like a normal political movement today could turn into a major national coalition tomorrow. And that is why these rumors are not being ignored. They are being discussed quietly in political circles, media houses, and among party members across the country. Right now, Nigerian politics is moving quietly, but behind closed doors, meetings are happening, calls are being made, negotiations are going on, and alliances are being discussed. Political leaders are not saying much in public, but silence in politics does not mean nothing is happening. In fact, silence often means serious discussions are taking place somewhere away from cameras and microphones. Nobody is talking too much in public, but in private, everyone is calculating. They are looking at numbers, regions, voting patterns, party strength, and public opinion. They are also watching each other carefully, because one political move can change everything overnight. One defection, one alliance, one agreement can redraw the entire political map. Because 2027 is not far anymore. It may sound far to ordinary citizens who are focused on daily life, business, and the economy, but to politicians, 2027 is already here. Elections in Nigeria are not won only during campaigns. Many times, they are decided years before the election through alliances, negotiations, and political structures built quietly over time. And every serious politician already knows that the next election may not be an easy one. The political environment is changing, voter behavior is changing, and young voters are becoming more involved in politics than ever before. Social media has also changed political communication, making it easier for candidates to reach millions of people directly without traditional political structures. Especially if new alliances start forming. Alliances are one of the most powerful tools in politics. When political groups that were once separate decide to work together, they combine their supporters, their structures, their funding, and their influence. This makes them much stronger than when they stand alone. That is why alliances are often feared more than individual candidates. If Kwankwaso officially moves and new political partnerships begin to form, it could trigger more defections from different parties. Nigerian politics has always been known for sudden defections and unexpected alliances, especially as elections get closer. Politicians go where they believe they have the best chance of winning, and parties try to gather as many strong politicians as possible before the election season fully begins. This is why the current rumors are being taken seriously in many political discussions. Not because anyone has confirmed anything officially, but because in Nigerian politics, rumors often come from ongoing discussions that have not yet been made public. Sometimes what people call rumors today becomes official news tomorrow. For now, nothing has been officially announced, but political watchers are paying close attention. Every meeting, every public statement, every visit between political leaders is now being analyzed and interpreted. People are trying to read between the lines and understand what may happen next. Because if a major political alliance is truly being discussed, then what is happening now may just be the beginning of a much bigger political realignment ahead of 2027. When looking at the situation from a realistic political perspective, the issue is not just about one politician moving from one party to another. It is about strategy, numbers, and the possibility of a major political alliance that could change the direction of the 2027 election. In Nigerian politics, defections are very common, but not all defections are equal. Some defections are small and do not affect anything. But some defections are very strategic and can change the balance of power completely. That is why the possible movement of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is being discussed so seriously in political circles. Kwankwaso is not just an ordinary politician. He has a loyal political base, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. His supporters are known to be very committed, and his political structure is very organized. This means wherever he goes politically, he does not go alone. He moves with supporters, loyal politicians, and a strong grassroots network. Now, when people begin to connect this with Peter Obi, the conversation becomes much bigger. Peter Obi is seen by many people, especially young voters and urban voters, as one of the most popular political figures heading toward the 2027 election. His influence, especially among the youth and educated voters, is something many political parties are watching very closely. If politics were only about popularity, elections would be very easy to predict. But politics is not only about popularity. It is about structure, alliances, regional strength, funding, party organization, and voter turnout. That is why alliances become very important in Nigerian elections. One candidate may be popular but lack structure in some regions, while another candidate may have strong structure but not enough national popularity. When such forces come together, they become very difficult to defeat. This is where the political calculations become very serious. If a political alliance brings together strong northern structure and strong southern and youth support, that combination becomes a national force. And once a national force is formed, the election becomes very competitive for any incumbent government. This is why many political analysts believe that the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, will naturally try to prevent any alliance that could become too powerful before the election. This is not unusual in politics. Ruling parties all over the world try to manage political alliances, negotiate with strong politicians, and sometimes persuade them to remain where they are or join their side instead. Politics is a game of numbers and influence. Every major party wants to enter an election as the strongest possible force. No party wants to face an election against a united opposition. A divided opposition is always easier to defeat than a united opposition. This is one of the oldest strategies in politics everywhere in the world. Another important factor is voter behavior. The 2023 election showed that many young Nigerians are now very interested in politics and are willing to support candidates they believe in strongly. This changed many political calculations because youth participation was much higher than in previous elections. Political parties are now taking youth voters more seriously than before. If the youth vote combines with strong regional political structures in different parts of the country, then the election becomes less predictable. That is why politicians are already thinking ahead and trying to build alliances early instead of waiting until the campaign period. It is also important to understand that alliances are not easy to build. They require negotiation, agreement on positions, agreement on party structure, agreement on campaign strategy, and sometimes agreement on who becomes presidential candidate and who becomes vice presidential candidate. These discussions can take months or even years. That is why what is happening now in Nigerian politics may look quiet on the surface, but underneath, discussions may already be ongoing. Political leaders meet privately more than they meet publicly. Many important political decisions in Nigeria are made in private meetings, not on television or social media. So when people talk about possible alliances, defections, and political movements ahead of 2027, they are really talking about strategy and survival. Every political party wants to survive. Every politician wants to remain relevant. And every serious political movement wants to position itself in the strongest possible way before the next election begins. This is why the conversations happening now are very important. They may not look dramatic yet, but they may determine what the political battlefield will look like when Nigeria finally moves fully into the 2027 election season. At this stage, every move matters. Every statement is being watched. Every silence is being interpreted. Even a simple visit between political figures can raise serious questions. Is it just a meeting, or something more? That is how tense the political space is becoming. For the All Progressives Congress, the goal is clear. Maintain strength. Avoid surprises. And prevent any powerful coalition from forming too early. For opposition figures like Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the focus is also clear. Build influence. Expand reach. And stay politically relevant as 2027 gets closer. The real battle is not yet on the stage. It is happening quietly, step by step. As Nigeria moves slowly toward the 2027 election, the political atmosphere is beginning to change in a very noticeable way. It may still look calm on the surface, but underneath, the political space is becoming more active, more strategic, and more competitive. Politicians are no longer just talking about today. They are talking about tomorrow. They are talking about alliances. They are talking about survival. They are talking about power. One thing that is very clear now is that no serious political party wants to enter the 2027 election weak or divided. Every party wants to enter the race strong, united, and prepared. That is why discussions, meetings, and quiet negotiations are becoming more frequent across the country. In Nigerian politics, alliances can change everything. A candidate who looks weak alone can become very strong with the right alliance. A party that looks small today can become very powerful tomorrow if the right people join. This is why political movements before elections are always very important. Many political observers believe that the next election may not just be about political parties, but about coalitions and alliances. Strong individuals may come together under one platform to face a common opponent. This has happened before in Nigerian politics, and it can happen again. If politicians like Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso ever decide to work together politically, it will not just be another political announcement. It will immediately change political calculations across many parties. Campaign strategies will change. Party negotiations will change. Even voter expectations will change. This is because both politicians already have strong and loyal supporters in different parts of the country. When political support from different regions and different groups comes together, it creates a national political movement instead of just a regional movement. And national movements are always more difficult to defeat in elections. At the same time, the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, will also be preparing very seriously for the next election. No ruling party wants to lose power, and ruling parties usually have strong political structures, experienced politicians, and government visibility which they can use to strengthen their position before an election. This means the 2027 election may eventually become a contest between strong political structures and strong political alliances. Structure versus coalition. Experience versus movement. Establishment versus new political partnership. That kind of political contest is usually very intense and very unpredictable. Another important factor is the Nigerian voter. Voters are becoming more aware, more vocal, and more involved in political discussions than before. Social media has given many Nigerians a political voice, and politicians now know that public opinion can spread very fast and influence millions of people within a short time. This means political campaigns in 2027 may not look like campaigns in the past. There will be more online campaigns, more political debates, more public engagement, and more attempts by politicians to connect directly with voters. The political environment is changing, and politicians are changing their strategies too. As all these things are happening, what Nigerians are seeing now are small political movements that may later become very big political events. A meeting today may become an alliance tomorrow. A rumor today may become a political announcement tomorrow. A defection today may lead to a major coalition next year. This is how politics builds slowly before it suddenly becomes very dramatic close to elections. What looks like normal political movement now may later be seen as the beginning of a major political realignment in Nigeria. So the situation right now is simple but very important. Politicians are moving carefully. Parties are watching each other carefully. Supporters are waiting and observing. Nobody wants to make the wrong move too early, but nobody wants to be left behind either. As 2027 gets closer, the meetings will increase. The negotiations will increase. The rumors will increase. The defections may increase. And alliances may begin to take clearer shape. By the time the election season fully begins, many of the major decisions would have already been made quietly behind the scenes. Because in politics, the real game is often decided before the public campaign even starts. What Nigerians are seeing now may just be the early stage of a much bigger political battle that will eventually decide the future leadership of the country in 2027. Right now, the political tension is growing quietly but steadily. Every small move is being analyzed. Every visit is being interpreted. Every statement is being studied for hidden meaning. For the All Progressives Congress, the goal is clear: maintain power, protect influence, and prevent any coalition that could threaten its position. For opposition figures like Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the goal is also clear: build alliances, expand reach, and strengthen political influence before the race officially begins. In Nigerian politics, timing is everything. Form alliances too early, and you may face sabotage. Form alliances too late, and you may miss the chance to be competitive. That is why what is happening now matters more than many people realize. The 2027 election will not just be about campaigns. It will be about preparation, strategy, and positioning. And the real battle is happening quietly, step by step, right now.